Welcome back to a new episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. My name is World Undone. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode where we have just uncovered our Western gentleman's true identity in a dance that was truly captivating, performed by Sherlock Holmes and, of course, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What a... If you haven't seen the previous episode for whatever reason, please go back and check that out because it was like nothing I've ever seen before in the Ace Attorney games. There's a lot of things that I've seen so far in this game that are nothing like the previous Ace Attorney games, which I am excited about. There's also plenty of stuff that I recognize, which is also quite good to see. So, without any further ado, let's get into learning a little bit more about our Russian ballerina. No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Like, am I going crazy, or the music sounds a lot like We Three Men of Orient Are. It's an old hymn, I think? I don't know. Which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could you really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. That is not how you say. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see. Questionable indeed. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Annoyingly. Annoying for her, perhaps. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You are right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return... you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something, Mr. Holmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. You pop up out of nowhere. Oh, and one more thing. Yes, what? Observe your... Oh no, wrists! My wrists! Ah! Your hands are cuffed again! What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Alright, so we can converse with her. Assumedly afterwards we should check out the cabin. The game is prompting me to converse with her first, so converse I shall. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh. That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps a steam engine exploded? I think no. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Could the speckled band be the snake in her trunk? That's an interesting idea. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet? I think it's Vish. Is it Vich or Vish? I don't know. Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes. In the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin. Am I accidentally doing a German accent? I might be. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Does it? Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but what do they know and I don't? Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Buria stopped by no port last night. Oh, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
That is not your business.
Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Holmes once said, I can never resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. When did he say that? A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Shoei. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So who's your only friend in the whole wide world? So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious, then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Holmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? It's a snake. Huh, you credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Yes. Oh, don't they have small rabbits there? You may well ask. I have no idea. What are you doing? You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. Ha 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 ha! She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Show her, huh? Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Okay, I think I know what that something is. It's the... oh, the, journal. The speckled band, I think, is her pet. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m., what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? God, she has this really creepy, like, thousand-eyed stare here. It's really quite something. She looks truly horrified. No. I don't know anything. Oh, I very much doubt that, Miss Pavlova. Uh-oh.
Excuse me, Mr. Royla.
That was fast.
Yes? What?
Wow, she's fast.
Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once. Please.
Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry about yourself, Mr. Roylott.
Get out! The passenger said out, or you want me to throw you out?
Ugh. Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. So I assume if we tried to examine it, it would have done like, oh, we should hear what she has to say first. Or something to that effect. That's how these games usually operate. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Oh god, it reminds me of that, what's his name? Something White. It's like, I once got thrown out of a bar. Now, it wasn't like the bartender said, okay, you gotta, you're cut off, and I said, oh, I gotta leave, everybody. No, I was literally thrown out of a bar. To be continued. Let's take a nice sip of water while we're here. Of course I would like to save my current progress. With Sherlock Holmes. That's his name. That name again is Sherlock Holmes, and I refuse to say any other. Alright. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh, yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. I don't know how to feel about this guy. Alright, so is there any new things to examine? That's got a check mark. That's got a check mark. That's new. Good to know. And talking to him is new as well. Okay. Let's try talking to the guy. I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin.
What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again,
Oh, no, definitely not that.
Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand?
not exactly. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. Yeah, we'll see how long that takes. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. Yeah, exactly. Alright, there's this cabin. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Okay. I remember this. She's really strict. As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. This is kind of new. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Good thinking. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Alright, so we can do that. I'll examine this door because it's new. That door leads to the second class area, I know. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Alright, so let's move. Right, I have to head back, then move, right? To Kazuma's cabin. We can't go to Miss Pavlova's cabin, of course. SS Buria. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. I guess we gotta find him first. Ah, there he is. Oh, unscathed. Not quite. Oh my god. Ah, you're back. Inspector? What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. A Russian bear. When I told the captain I had given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Boy, now I feel guilty. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think that he was German, though. That explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Oh my god. This guy. The cabin next door. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please. What? Sorry about the noise outside. What self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Okay. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Alright, let's go with this new information. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. So what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. I remember poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests that it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. I would think some bruising at the very least. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you.
Aw, Hosonaga.
After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I?
Now, are you feeling guilty now, Susada-san? Alright, the great detective.
Oh, Mr. Holmes was there, was he?
Was here?
Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored.
Did he say anything at all?
Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it.
It's shoe polish,
Was all he said.
Shoe polish. That over there? I wonder what he meant.
It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass.
Oh, that's Hosonaga.
Do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Yes, that must be it.
But how could Mr. Holmes know that it's shoe polish?
That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea.
What is it, Susada-san?
Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue.
Dark tan? A sort of brownish red, then.
Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him.
How close were you with the victim?
Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor?
It's possible.
The mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head.
Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you.
Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I I feel terrible that I failed to protect Osagi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke up this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. I think rather than someone poisoning Kazuma's chicken, someone poisoned everyone's chicken. So, what now? I guess we examine stuff? We can examine a few things again. Let's take stock. So the ventilator, the bookshelf. There's a lot of things, actually, that we can examine again. No idea how new any of these are. Okay, so there's that, obviously. Okay, let's start with the ventilator. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I wonder that, too. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same thing about me, but... about me. There was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay, so... what's next? We've already talked to this guy. Check out the desk again. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. Yeah, I remember that. Now you're okay with reading diary entries. Looking at his writing here on the page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Okay, so take a look at this again. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt on the floor. And they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Yeah, finally. I can't believe you just now noticed that, but oh well. These are the rules of passage. Yeah, we already know this. I would be considered a pet. So, by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Alright, let's check out... well, let's talk to you. Have anything new to say?
You, where did you go?
Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate.
Why? Who gave you permission for this?
Seaman Hosonaga did.
Humph, that new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into ball and throw him in cold room.
Phew, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Depressing words, but true all the same. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two. But the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's this brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? Okay, so that's all the new things I was able to find. I think. Oh no, the bookshelf as well. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yeah, and you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. I don't know. There's a lot of other untidiness here. Alright, that wasn't the last part of it. Was it the door? No. Okay, this is a katana. What else is there to examine here? Give it another quick look through. No, that's already checked off. Alright, do I have any options here? Gameplay. We might as well put text skip on. Should help a little bit. Okay. Especially when I accidentally do something that I've seen before. Alright, I'm going to... Oh, right. Duh. I have new evidence to examine, don't I? So let's examine this first. Pardon me. Let's take a note out of Sherlock Holmes's book. Okay, interesting, interesting. Let's examine this. Male Far Eastern, yeah. Time of death sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Okay. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Okay. Somewhat strange. Okay, so that evidence didn't do it. So, what else is there to do? I can talk to this guy again? Can I not skip this text? Okay, I guess I can. Might be a long time from now. Boy, even this text skip really takes a long time to get through. Oh well. Alright, so my last option is, of course, to go outside the room. Oh. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Okay, so you can investigate just blank spots like that. Okay, so it's time to move. I forget, what was the situation here exactly? Okay, I think this was the right option. Maybe? God, I hope so, considering this takes forever to get through. Ah! Look, Naruhodo-san! Seaman Stroganoff has gone! Strong enough? Stroganoff. The burly Russian soldier who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Ugh, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Come on, Naruhodo. You have no place to protest. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. I think we know exactly who's singing. It's caroling. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy-knot crewman comes back. Okay. Enough of the racism against Russians. It's Stroganov, not Stringy-knot. So can we just move over there? Yes, we can. Oh? I noticed something immediately out of place. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh! Where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port, in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Alright, time to examine. We got a lot to examine here. Is this going to be anything different? They're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Buria's Rules of Passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. Wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganov doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. So do I. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. Okay, I think I know what happened. Somebody pulled the emergency alarm, and everyone on the ship was drugged. So no one heard the alarm, and no one heard the ship stop, and it lurched to a stop, which caused all the bookshelves to topple over. I'm guessing. In Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage? Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. Okay, well, good job, I guess. So what about this? Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes, why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Gotcha. Okay, so that was just part of the cabinet. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Oh, maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Right. So, let's check out the empty suitcase. Why not? Yes, you just noticed? It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. Wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Good questions all. Fancy. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. True. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Obstinacy is my middle name, so we can't examine... Oh, we can examine the plate. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? No, it's for the pets. Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Alright, well, let's check out the desk. There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thank you, Susato. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Yeah, I'll see what I can do to remember that. Alright, so is there anything else to examine? Yeah, this. I suppose every cabin has a wastepaper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well that's a little disappointing. Okay. So, what else is there to look at in this room? There's a bookshelf, there's that. The light... Oh, did I ever examine the vent? No, I didn't. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes. Wait, did we already do this? Did I just not notice the check mark? Oh, yeah, probably, because it was so high up. Dang it. Alright. What about this? There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there. And she gave it a good tug, too. You can give me a good tug if you... No, okay, let's forget about that. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Is there anything else that I missed? The door, I guess. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. Well, wouldn't that... Well, whatever. Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Wait, what else is there? Alright, we might have to cut away shortly. The bed? No. Alright, so, yeah, I may have to cut some of this out until I realize what to do. Or actually, hold on. I'll give one little look around here again. There's a rug, but we can't examine that. We already examined the teapot. So I think we've examined everything in this room. So let's try to go back and move to a different place. Anything new here? I don't think so. Maybe we can try to unlock the door and go over to the second cabin, or the second thing there. Let's go to the first class passageway. And what the hell, why don't we try examining things here? No, nothing I can see. What about this? This could be our chance. Yeah. Every last inch of that cabin. Yeah, well, didn't actually help. Okay, just as I suspected. Oh, it's Mr. Holmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's gonna turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off a bit more than it could chew. Doesn't scan well. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky Sherlock was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. That doesn't even rhyme. Mr. Holmes. What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach a climactic finish. I'm sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Mr. Holmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Holmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in the first-class passageway. And he has an almost a religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Ah. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. Maybe this guy is an all-talk. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Good thinking. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective, yeah. I was just saying, like, alright, he's not just completely for show, and not a complete moron, either. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Holmes Holmes? Brilliance! Huh. Ooh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Ooh. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. I think the whole ship was drugged. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just, well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? So, what else is there? Nothing over there. Nothing here. So let's head back to the... Pavlova's cabin, I guess. Oh, what? What's that? Someone pulled the alarm. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter mile 4. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Ah! Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. And look at the bookshelf. Oh my goodness! What about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? Yeah, thanks for noticing. No, I'm fine. Hello? Is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? I'm finding Ryonosuke a lot easier to say than Naruhodo for some reason. Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolts? Look at that! The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, I think some of these mysteries are really starting to, come to fruition here. And because of that, you're going to be gaining some new information quite soon. And we will gain that information in the next episode. While I give my voice a rest. Oh my god. Fully voicing episodes are turning out to be quite the taxing experience. And so far no one's even watching them. But hopefully that will change soon enough. Alright, either way, my name is World Undone. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care.